It's about the Maverick Hunters, General. They are far too eager to please the humans and continue to hunt down the Reploids. Do you believe they pose a significant threat?
Perhaps.
You already know the truth, General. Their sole mission has been to destroy any Reploids who fail to do as the humans order. It's in your best interest to stop them now, before they turn on you. You possess enough power to destroy them!
You are dismissed.
What?
I will not betray the humans. Remove yourself from my sight. My business with you has concluded.
Very well. But you will change your mind soon, I assure you.
Brave soldiers of Repliforce, we have all been wrongfully judged as mavericks by the humans. We cannot suffer this indignity and live in disgrace. We will build our own nation of Reploids. But remember, this is neither about insurrection nor rebellion against our human creators. This is about our liberty and security. We must battle for our own individual rights and our own survival. Together we will build our nation, a sanctuary for all Reploids, our own utopia. Let us forge onward towards a new golden era for the Repliforce.
I too share the general sentiment. Take heed, we have no other choice. Let us fight valiantly, with courage and pride, without fear, for we are the Repliforce.
The most powerful army in history!
The General has finally taken action. And now, my Maverick Hunters, what will you do? I'll be watching closely from here on out.
Okay, my apologies folks, as I realized there my microphone was not doing its job as typical. But now we should be okay. So, this is X, and he's back at Maverick Hunter base, meeting Double, the Rookie Hunter. And now we'll get our slow introduction to all the Mavericks here. As I was trying to say, and obviously the audio didn't record, but this is Mega Man X. I'm your buddy Mojo, of course, and been having issues with my headset when I've been trying to record lately, so apologies again for that. As I did about 5 minutes worth of opening scene commentary there, and nothing at all. But we'll explain it as we go. What I did mention is I did put a code in at the beginning of X's playthrough to show how you can get his Ultimate X armor. Let me bring that back up here. Had saved that. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and read the screen there while I pull that up. Okay. So, as we meet our 8 Mavericks here, which their name will pop up in the little scene as we go to fight them all individually, what I did at the very beginning of the game, and I explained it, but the audio didn't record, thank you for that, was there are codes you can put in at the beginning of the game to give different types of armor. You can get X's Ultimate Armor, and you can get Zero's Black Armor, which, to be perfectly honest, I don't know. There's been speculation online for what Zero's armor will do, but I don't have any proof to say one way or the other with that. But X's armor, what you do to get this code for the Ultimate Armor is at the character select screen at the very beginning, you press circle twice, left 6 times, and you hold L1 and R2 until after the first cutscene ends. So when the actual game begins and it says ready and you appear on the highway there, that's when you let go of L1 and R2. Again, that code is press circle twice, left 6 times, held L1 and R2 if you're playing the PlayStation version. And you'll be able to get X's Ultimate Armor, which I'm about to show you where you get that. When you start the game, to know that if you did that right, his X will look, his armor normally is like, as you can see there, kind of like a grayish blue tinge, and then the rest of the armor is blue. In that grayish blue tinge will be purple instead. And that's how you know you put the code in right. With Zero, I believe, and I could be incorrect about this, but when we go through it, when I actually play a Zero, I'll show you that bit there. I'm pretty sure after you go through the first cutscene and you land in there, just like I said with X, Zero is automatically black. Zero is not one of Dr. Light's creation, so that's why he doesn't need to go to a capsule to do this. Now, as we go through these little Mavericks here, there's a couple that I like to start out with. There's one of three that I start out with to begin with. Most people's choice is Magma Dragoon, because he's relatively easy. I mean, he still hits you fast, but he's relatively easy, and the whole level is pretty cool, flashy. The music's awesome. What I used to do one of my younger years, my teenage years, is I used to do Frost Walrus. I enjoyed him more because his patterns are just very basic. However, because we did the cheat code, we're going to go to the jungle, and we're going to face our first Maverick, Web Spider. Alright, here we go. As you can see, he's in the jungle. A little bit of water everywhere. But nothing really big and complicated. There are a few Mavericks in this area. Some of them can be deadly, but only if you're playing tomfoolery-like and you don't know what you're doing. As you can see, I dashed all the way to the right side here, which isn't super necessary. Watch out for these guys as they shoot orbs of energy from their eye. But where you come down here, you're going to want to dash to the right. Now, normally I believe this is just a boot part, but here's where you're going to get your Falcon armor. Or not your Falcon armor, I'm sorry, your ultimate armor. And Nova Strike is going to be very important. Dr. Light gives his advice. It says that this armor is not safe. It's not completed yet, but that's not for him to worry about, because we're going to be responsible with it. And this is your Giga attack. This, you're completely invincible during the time period you're doing. Now, the default setting is R2 on the PlayStation controller, but I'll show you here in a second, watch, obliterates anything. The other cool thing about this armor, besides the fact that there's damage reduction, you can hover. I find that to be convenient, and it's a lot easier to clear through this when you're able to dash through things. Now, you do have to be careful, because it is very easy to go into one of the pits if you don't use the dash function properly, if you don't use this properly. But as you can see, I can take considerable less damage now. And yes, you can pretty much spam that move to the ultimate armor move there to completely destroy and wreck any enemy, but we're going to try our best not to spam that. As we ascend the ladders and climb up further, there's not really much to talk about commentary-wise for this. As we come up to our door here, this will be the ending of the final part of the first area. Just give it a spam pistol shot, and through we go, on the jungle too. Like I said before, but the commentary didn't record, is that every level in this game has 2 stages. So your main 8 Mavericks always have a 2-parter. There's a little bit of a loading scene, which has been considerably reduced compared to the original PlayStation copy. But it's still significant enough that it causes a little bit of lag. So I apologize if there's much lag throughout the stream here, but hopefully it won't be too bad. So you can see that stuff, that dash just completely obliterates things. You don't have anything to be really concerned about when you have that, besides maybe the distance you travel. Okay. Now here is a special section we'll come back to later on, but right here, as you can see that blast reflected off of that, right here is when you get Magma Dragoon's move, his power, you can go ahead and torch that. Eventually, I don't believe it's there, I believe it's actually right over here, but we'll precise that later on in the playthrough, as I'm janking up here. But as you go through here, there's different parts, like this section as well, right there in that middle of that log, that you can go through to set on fire. And when you do, one of those sections has the heart tank, which the heart tanks in the Mega Man X series increase your maximum life. Now, it is pretty likely we'll die here, which is fine. I don't mind losing a life, because we did pick it up an extra one in the intro stage. But, go down here, get this full energy capsule. Only the one that has those multiple beads in it is a full energy capsule. And what that'll do is obviously replenish all your energy. And as you can see, very quickly we're up the web spider. I haven't decided if I don't want to just read the things on screen, or if I just want to, you know, maybe possibly do voices. Voices is one thing, but meh. Okay, so he's giving us the threat. Web Spider isn't too hard to defeat here. What you need to watch out for is charging Web Splash, because if those things catch you, you'll be caught in the net, just like a regular ass spider. And then he'll be able to get a free hit on you. Now, there are two ways to go about this, now that we have our code in. We can do this, what I'm doing now, which is the typical thought. As you can see, I got caught, I got busted. Or, you can dash through him. As you can see, difference in damage here. Blast him with that. It does a decent bit of damage. When you get him about halfway, he goes into a second phase and he starts doing this. You can also look at this, and you can see the considerable amount of damage that does. And as you see, you know, some people consider this a cheater technique, but you know what? The game's not super hard anyway, so why make it harder on yourself? Why not have a little fun with it? And that's our first Maverick. Web Spider dropped. Squish him, boys. Yeah. We get the lightning web, which is great for ascending to higher places. You basically shoot the web, and you can climb up on the web to double jump or wall jump. I'll give you a brief overview of what that looks like, huh? Always, always, always save. I'm a chronic guy with saving. I play a lot of RPGs, which I plan on doing a little bit of playthrough at some point as well. But always save. And if you can, cross-save, because sometimes things get corrupted. Now, because we did Web Spider, there's a couple different ways we can go through this game right now. We can go back to the basic idea of taking out these guys first, because they're pretty easy, or we can go for Split Mushroom, because of the fact that he is weak to the web. So, we got the armor, let's do it. Alright. This level is a spiral staircase for the first part here. Basically just keep moving. Again, you can always spam this, and it'll make you get through much faster. There is a heart tank in this level, which I believe is in the second part here. This can get a little bit hairy, especially if you're not careful, because you have Mavericks flying in from the side, and you have a couple of those eyeball dudes from the first level there, Web Spider, shooting their shots as well. It's not super hard, but as you see, I just kind of dashed right through it. But it is something to be concerned of, just in case you play a little sloppy. This section is all upwards, all vertical to go through. These guys produce spikes, and they do respawn, so as you can see there. So you must be careful. As you can see, there's multiple paths to get up to the top. But for the most part, this isn't very difficult. As with most Mega Man games, in fact all of them, spikes are one-hit instant kills. So let's try to stay away from that. As we get one up, pretty cool. This time we'll wait patiently. Now these guys aren't instant kills, but they do considerable amounts of damage. Especially if you don't have any body armor to protect you, but we do because we got our trusty. So as you can see, it still does a significant amount of damage, but not so bad. Pop on up here. As you can see, because of our ultimate armor, we have a little bit of an electric blast that kind of hangs around after the fact. That is extremely helpful because it continues to damage enemies. With most bosses, though, they have that stun effect, though, so, you know, they only have a certain amount of time that they have iframes or invincibility frames. And so it won't always do continuous damage. But, you know, we're badass Mega Man X. We don't need all that. This one you have to be very careful with, as this guy will grow spikes and fly up. He will go from side to side and come to your position, then come up and destroy the block you're standing on. I always like to start on the far right, blast him. See, I did almost half of his life on that one shot. Slide, blast. And voila, easy. And on to Bio Laboratory Area 2. It's got a purple hue now. This one's a little bit harder because there is some spiky ball things that come down through here. And eventually we do get chased. Oh, I guess I had that wrong. It's been a while since I played this game, folks. But with all the other stuff, like this up here, as you can see that heart spin in there, that's your heart tank. This can be slightly problematic to get to, but it's a lot harder with Zero at first than it is with X. X, we can improvise, especially since we went to web spiders first. So we go here, and voila. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty tight. Ooh, jeez. And that's how you can carelessly mess up with the ultimate armor. What I was attempting to do is do this. Just kind of dash on through. So you can see you can air dash as well with X's regular dash, which I have set for square. And now we come to a slow crawling eyeball vine elevator segment, which is just agonizingly slow. But other than that, it's not too hard. Just dash to the side, dash to the side. Or you can be like lazy like I am at times and use your ultimate move to zip across. Don't get underneath those blocks, as if you get caught under there, that's a one-hit kill. Slide over here. This is gonna hurt a bit if you get caught. You can only shoot those vines when the eyes are open, so that particular one I couldn't destroy. And get through that section. Always collect the energy, and that blue orb is for your weapon energy. But as we have the ultimate armor here, we don't lose energy for that, and we can charge it to use an ultimate attack like that. That's the only time you'll ever waste energy. Otherwise, it's just unlimited shooting, as you can see. But we're gonna need that for split mushroom here, as I make my goofy way to jump up. I apologize for the shoddy commentary, it's just randomly fun. If you notice the health bar on the right there, and you're familiar with the first couple games, then you'll know what orders and who he's been talking to. But, as you can see, this is Split Mushroom, and he makes copies of himself. But we can completely avoid that whole thing by shooting the web. And as you can see, he's shooting them straight into the web so that the copies get destroyed. They'll fly off the screen and they'll fly at you. But every time you use this weapon on him, which is his weakness, he'll just jump from side to side. And it becomes what they like to call somewhat a stun lock. And this just makes this so simple. Yes, we could be sitting here and doing this slightly faster with your dash attack, but he does have some other attacks to do. Which, I guess I can let that happen. Show you guys once what he does, okay? We'll fire this so he doesn't shoot those things into us. They'll get absorbed. Okay, now he's splitting into two here, which you can completely avoid. Want to find the real one, blast him. Find the real one, blast him. You know, this is easy peasy lemon squeezy right here. As long as you don't miss like I just did. Split Mushroom is no more. But it's in a little bit of commentary that he had back and forth there. If you look back in the video, go back a little bit and see the health bar there. That's the Sigma blah. Jesus. That is the Sigma symbol. Sigma's the boss from the very first X game. And, well, if that's who he's told to stop him, we might be seeing somebody later on. Soul Body is a cool little thing. It does the same exact illusion thing as what you saw with Split Mushroom there. And we can use that to defeat enemies. It's just basically just creates a little bit of damage. It's cool. It's not one of my favorite weapons in this game, but it is something simple. And as you can see, it displays our heart tanks there. Alright. Now, based on weakness order, we can go right here, because he is weak to Split Mushroom's ability. Not really into the idea of doing that. We're going to jump around a little bit. So we'll go over here and we'll enter the volcano. This guy might look familiar to you from the opening cutscene part of the game. Overseas, I believe it might be Japan, but I could be wrong here. It says irregular hunters there. The irregular hunters is just another word for maverick hunters. That's what they're called overseas, where here in the US we call them the maverick hunters. It could be in power regions mostly, but it might be in the EU region as well. I'm not completely confident on that, but either way, I'm going to shut up for a bit because the music in this level is pretty cool. And that's why I never claimed to be a pro. But yes, I mean, this is pretty much straightforward, as you can see this level. You get a lot of the balls that are coming up behind you. They're not going to hit you if you don't let them. But this section can be a bit tasking, especially if you play sloppy like I do on occasion. You just basically time it and jump, time and dash, time and dash. It's not very hard. Then lava will spurt out of the ground. It's not one hit kill. It'll do considerable damage, but again, we got the ultimate armor. As you can see there, I took it to the face and didn't really scratch as much. These guys shoot missiles. That can be quite tasking and annoying, but as long as you blast on through it. Dash through that. And now we have a few balls coming at us from above. And no one likes taking balls to the face, trust me. Okay. Now we have some falling from the ceiling, and this will be the end section of this part, and on the volcano area too. Very short. Here in this platforming section, you'll have to be very careful though, because lava will come up, and it will hit and start to destroy. 2 hits, and those things are gone, as you can see right there. You got to be very careful, because you may not have a pathway to walk on. Guys are in their little bit of a mech suit here. Easy to take out, especially if you keep your distance like I did. You can avoid them. Now, over here, we have a heart tank. And there's a couple ways to reach it. You can kind of hover over. You dash and you kind of hover over here and get close. And it's very possible to dash, jump, and get over there. But what we're going to do is go through this, and we're going to go ahead and do it this way. Ta-da! And there we go. Get a little bit more life, and that's always awesome. Alright, apologies for that, folks. I'll be right back. Enjoy the scene. Alright folks, sorry about that, a little bit of technical issues. As you can see, we've reached Magma Dragoon. I stayed in the mech armor thing. That way it's a little bit easier to navigate the lava, because if you land in lava, it's just like spikes. It's a one-hit instant kill. But the cool thing about this, unlike all the other X games up to this point, you can actually take the armor into this fight. And as long as you're in the armor, you're invincible. So it makes this fight considerably easier, because you can kind of, quote, cheat your way through it. Now, if you pay attention to what he says Hadouken, and he does the Shuri Rippa, which are all moves from Capcom's other franchise, Street Fighter. As you can see, we can do considerable damage here, just kind of tapping on him. Working on his health here. And this armor will explode. As you can see, it's starting to flash now. So I could be in some danger here. But as you can see, we've done most of the damage and work already. All you gotta do now is just keep on it and be very careful, because he can kill you very easily. But otherwise, he's a bit of a pusher. Even with my ultimate armor, look at the damage he did to our health bar. As you can see, he also had a health bar with Sigma's label on it. But let's watch. Simply betrayed us just to sit there and fight us to see how strong we were. He-hoo. Goad is such a wonderful word, too. I love that. Get your dictionaries out if you don't know what that means. Dragoon! With that, the dramatic end of Magma Dragoon, who we've known for all of 35 minutes. Now, his weapon's okay. It's not the best of all weapons you can get. It shoots fire and it goes vertically. It shoots straight up. So for aerial enemies, it's okay, but you can do much more damage with other things. It'll help us in the next time we go through to getting certain things, but that's okay. And with that, folks, I believe this is a good time to stop part 1. I realize it's 3 Mavericks and that's kind of odd, but we'll stop here and we will resume with Mega Man X4 on another day with X's playthrough. This is your buddy Mojo, and have a good rest of your day. Stay toasty and frosty, friends. Take care of yourselves.